Hi, this is Senior Sales Director Rena Hafiz, and I want to tell you, hey, how do I get clients? You started a new business, and it's kind of exciting and kind of nerve-wracking because you want to do well, and now how do you get the people to help you do well? So I'm going to go over some of the basic techniques that I used to get clients to build my business. The first way that I built my business is I did a power start. Now, you guys have to understand, the day I did the power start, I actually took the entire Friday off to make 5 booking calls because I only knew 5 people to start my power start. You don't need to do this, but I took a day off work and I was so scared to make the phone calls that I decided it would be best to do it after breakfast. Well, after breakfast, I thought, you know what? People are just getting to their office and not settling down. So maybe I should do it mid-morning. Well, mid-morning, I turned on the TV and The Price is Right was on. I had not watched The Price is Right in maybe 20 years. So I decided I would invest in The Price is Right and call after The Price is Right was finished. When The Price is Right was finished, it was very close to lunchtime, and I thought, you know what, everyone in their offices are going to be going to lunch, so it's probably not a good time to call. So I'll wait till they came back from lunch around 1:30. At about 1:30, you know what, I hadn't had lunch, so I went ahead and ate lunch. Next thing I knew, it was 3 o'clock, and I freaked out because I had not made any calls. So I ran to my bathroom mirror, practiced this script a few times and held my breath and made 5 phone calls and actually got a good portion of my power start booked. So what I'd like to do is share some techniques that I use that may or may not work for you, but these are just merely suggestions on some of the things I did that may help you with your business. What I did with my power start calls is I started calling friends and acquaintances, some coworkers, and some neighbors, and a couple of friends from school. I said something like this: "Hi Amy, this is Rena. Do you have a quick minute?" "Well, great. I'm so excited and I'm calling to tell you that I've started my own business as an independent beauty consultant with Mary Kay. Part of my training is to practice makeovers on 30 women in my first 30 days. My director told me to call my closest, most reliable friends who'd be willing to help out, so naturally I thought of you. I need to hold these appointments within the next 2 weeks. Which week would work best for you, the first or the second?" "Great. Are Tuesday or Thursdays better for you? Mornings or evenings?" "Amy, I want you to know how much I appreciate you helping me out. If you would like to invite some friends to join you for your makeover, I'll have a special gift certificate for you." So let me break this down and tell you why this works. When you call somebody, you guys, at the beginning, tell them why you're calling. "I've started my own business as an independent beauty consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and part of my training is to practice makeovers on 30 women on my first 30 days. The next thing is you compliment her. "My director told me to call my closest, most reliable friends who would be willing to help out, so naturally I thought of you." Give her a deadline. "I need to hold these appointments in the next 2 weeks." And then you go into positive choices. Which week would be best for you, the first or the second? Next week or the week after? Whatever they say, great. The week after. Then you go into your schedule. So I was only available on Tuesdays or Thursdays because I had meetings on Monday nights and school on Wednesdays and Fridays. So would Tuesday or Thursday evening be better for you? Then again, you give them a choice of time. Would 6:30 or 7 o'clock be better for you? So they would pick 6:30 or 7. Notice I did not offer 5 or 5:30 because I wasn't home from work at that point. "All right, Amy, so I have you down for 6:30 on Tuesday the 23rd. At this point, you want to turn around and I do a soft close to make it a party. "Amy, I want you to know that it's just as easy for me to do 2 or 3 people as it is for me to do 1. If you'd like to have a couple of friends join you for your makeover, I'll have a special gift certificate for you." And this is how I booked my power start. Let's say the other people that I think are really great for starting a business, because friends and family, they're either for you or against you. They're either amazing supporters or not that much fun. But the acquaintance booking approach has been very successful for me. Acquaintances are someone that you kind of know in the halls at work, or you've seen them in a few of the classes at the gym, but you don't necessarily know their name or anything about them. I started with a girl in accounting. I had gone up to accounting on another project and had to get a check cut for a reimbursement. So I knew her name was Angela, and I knew she worked in accounting, but I didn't know anything else other than it was Angela in accounting. When I went up to her and booked her and said, "Excuse me, Angie, can I ask you for a huge favor?" And you want to stress the word huge. "Excuse me, Angie, can I ask you for a huge favor?" Now, you can say no way if you want to. "I just started a new business with Mary Kay. Would you mind if I borrowed your face for a free makeover and you could give me your honest opinion of our products? I just loved how energetic you were and how enthusiastic you were when you did my purchase order. What would be best for you, an evening or a weekend? I work at the Hyatt on Monday nights. Are Monday nights good for you, or is another evening better? Great. I'd love to have you as a face model Monday night and show you off to my director. Our meeting starts at 7, so I'll see you at 7 o'clock at the Dulles Hyatt, and I'll have a special gift for you for coming." So you want to ask for a huge favor. If someone who you didn't know very well came and asked you for a huge favor, what are you thinking? Maybe borrow money, loan a car? Not fun. Then you turn around and tell them you can say no way, or you can say not in a million years if you want to, or depending on if they have an attitude. You can tell me to stick it if you want to, just depending on how well you know this acquaintance. And then you ask them for the favor. And when it goes from a huge favor to, "Oh, you just want me to have a makeover," it just is a huge relief for the person. "So I just started a new business with Mary Kay. Would you mind if I borrowed your face for a free makeover and you give me your honest opinion of our products?" Then you want to give a compliment. Because if you don't give a compliment, they make up a reason why you asked them. And the reason is you want their money, usually, or you're trying to sell something. So you want to, instead of having their brain do all the work, do the work for them. What I loved about Angie was her enthusiastic energy. She came to the meeting. She came with a friend. She ended up signing up for being a consultant and became one of the first red jackets in my unit when I was a brand new director. It worked out pretty well. At this point, you're taking their temperature. So you pause and take their temperature. They're either excited or they're kind of reserved. And based on that, if they say no, you thank them profusely and say, "Oh, I think you're so cute. If you ever change your mind, here's my card." And if they're still interested, they may have some questions for you, and you can answer the questions at that point. If for some reason they ask a question and you don't know the answer, you can always say, "I'll check with my director. Let me send my director a quick text, and I'll let you know." I think acquaintances are the most powerful way to book. So people that you know that maybe work at your doctor's office, people that go to the gym with you, people that you've seen at the deli, people that work in other departments in the company that you don't ever interface with, people that go to school with you that you know are students at the same school but don't know their major or anything else about them, are an amazing way because you have a little bit in common, but you're really not friends, so you're not changing a personal relationship into a business relationship. And that's what I really love about acquaintance booking. You have some parties. How do you get that chain going? Because the best bookings you get are from parties to parties. You started with the Power Start booking approach or the acquaintance booking approach, but now you want to keep that chain going so you're not always starting over and over looking again. This is the correct booking approach by Mary Kay. I have been to several training sessions with different sales trainers, and they'll say, "Look, if you use this technique, you'll have a 50% yes. And if you use this technique, you'll have a 70% yes." And then they say, "And if you use Mary Kay's correct booking approach, you'll have the highest success rate." Why is that? Well, Mary Kay was in direct sales for 40 years, and that's how she came up with the correct booking approach. So she's already done all the work, tested it out, so why not just use it? At the end of the appointment, after you've gotten the order, so this is after you've gotten the order, and after you've set a date for her next appointment. After you've gotten an order, after you've set the date for her next appointment, you say, "At every show, I always select a couple of people I would like most to have as my future hostesses. And today, Susie, I've selected you. Tell me, is there any reason why when I come and do your checkup facial, you couldn't have some of your friends join us? And your friend, Janie, will win some of those gifts that she's so excited about. I think you'd be great." And then you just be quiet and see what she has to answer. So at every show, I always select a couple people I would like most as my future hostesses. And today I've selected you. Tell me, Susie, when I come to do your checkup facial, is there any reason why you couldn't share it with a few friends? Because I think you'd be great. Notice that we've already decided that she is having a checkup facial and a date for that. If you do this before setting a date for the checkup facial, then the common response is, let me check with my friends, find a day that is good for them, and I'll get back to you. First of all, this is a very easy way that most people get out of having to make a decision. And the second thing is that if she does follow through and ask her friends, if she asks 4 friends, she'll get 4 different days of the week for 4 different times. So you don't want to go into that game. You want to already select a date and time that is best for her, and then say, if you can have friends join you, go ahead, because she is more likely to hold a date that works for her rather than hold a date that works for her friends. For example, I have 4 kids that I drive around. Mondays and Thursdays are always bad. If I book something on a Monday or Thursday, chances are I'm already driving the kids around. If there's any other emergency, in a position to maybe cancel. Referrals. You can also get referrals at the party. This is how I get referrals. I tell them, now go ahead and turn your profile card over to the back side. On the back side, there's usually a place for referrals. They change our profile cards, our customer profile cards from time to time. However, there is several places that you can just write on the back of the profile card. And I say, if you can think of 7 people that might enjoy a Mary Kay makeover, give me their names and numbers and I'll have a special gift for you. Notice that I did not ask anything. I told them. These are commands. Think about this as dealing with kids. If you ask your children, would you like to brush your teeth tonight? What do you think would happen? We'd be much better off to say, go brush your teeth. A lot of people will grab their cell phones and start writing. Or I might just say, grab your cell phone and start writing. Again, I am not asking, I am telling them. Because that causes less confusion and they're much more likely to follow through. If someone hesitates, or while they're writing, I may say, it just depends. I may be looking for foundation colors while they're writing, or I might be talking to them. If they hesitate, I say, I'll be calling your friends and saying, hi, I'm a friend of your friend Susie, and Susie had a Mary Kay makeover with me and enjoyed it so much that she left a complimentary makeover with a $15 gift certificate in your name. Referrals are a great way to get people. I got a good client referral for a lady named Linda Benson that eventually came into my unit and ended up doing super well, stayed in for about 4 years and really helped us become Fabulous 50s and earn 2 company cars. Now, when are you going to ask for referrals? I always ask for referrals when I show them the Indulge Soothing Eye Gel. The reason is that the eye gel takes a couple of minutes to dry, and this is a great thing that they can be doing while the eye gel dries. The eye gel also firms up the area around the eye, so if you wait a couple of minutes to let the eye gel dry and allow it to firm up the area, they can actually sometimes see a difference in the skin of one eye to the other, because I only allow them to use the eye gel on one eye. I might make a joke, so remember, only give me people that you like, that you want to give a free gift to. They may give me referrals, they may not. I figure if they don't want to give me referrals, I may not want to meet their friends. So whatever they do is totally fine with me. At that point, I usually have a goodie bag with some products that maybe I want to move, or little nail polishes or samples, some kind of goodies, and whoever gets the names down first, I let them have 2 goodies out of my goodie bag, and everybody else that hits 7 names gets 1. Once you have the referral, how do you convert that into an appointment? So I'm going to call the referral and say, hi Janie, my name is Rena and I'm in Mary Kay. I'm a friend of your friend Susie. Susie had a Mary Kay makeover and enjoyed it so much that she left a complimentary makeover and a $15 gift certificate in your name. So it takes maybe 25 minutes or so for me to pop over with my samples and we can play makeup. And then you can select what you'd like for your gift certificate. What's best for you, evening or weekend? Remember, at this point I had a full-time job. Now I would offer daytime appointments. What's good for you, evening or weekend? If she says weekend, and I know that Saturdays I have 4 soccer games, so then I would say Saturday afternoons or Sunday afternoons, because I know Saturday mornings are usually my game days. Let's say she says Sunday. Then I'm going to offer her a time, 2 or 4 better. She's going to select either 1, 2, or 4. Again, if she says no, she's not interested, then I'll say, great, I'll go ahead and let Susie know. Thank you so much for considering Mary Kay, and if you ever change your mind, here's my number. If she says she has another consultant, I say, great, it's so excited to meet another loyal Mary Kay client. I really love that you are supporting your consultant, and thank you so much for using Mary Kay. It doesn't matter what they say, you always end on a high and professional note. So after you decide a date and time, Sunday at 4 o'clock with Janie, you're going to say, Janie, I'm in a contest to have 10 faces done this week. And it's just as easy for me to do 2 or 3 people as it is for me to do 1. If you'd like to have a couple of friends join you when I come over, and then this example I said Saturday at 3. When I come over Saturday at 3, then I'll double your gift certificate. So I just kind of plant the seed and leave the idea where she can have a couple of friends join her. Then the night before, I'll call her and say, hey, Janie, it's Rena with Mary Kay. I have you down for tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Let me ask you, how many samples should I bring? Should I bring them just for you or for you and a couple of friends? And instead of asking, hey, are you going to keep the appointment, I can just call and ask and see how many people are going to be there. I built 5 car teams on Warm Chatter booking because after I did my Power Start, I didn't book too many appointments from the shows. I didn't know how to. And I hadn't read my consultant guide to learn the correct booking approach. Not that this would ever happen to you. I learned how to Warm Chatter book. And I used to take the train, Washington Metro, into D.C. on the Orange Line every morning and then take the Orange Line back every evening. So I used to sit next to a woman going all the way into town on a 25-minute train ride, trying to get up the courage to talk to her and hand her my card. And I used to make deals with God, and I used to promise God, if she stays on past Farragut West, I swear I'll give her my card. I mean it. And then when she'd stay on past the Farragut West stop, I'd say, you know what, Lord, I really meant Metro Center, because I'd chicken out again. But this is a great technique. I actually earned my first company cars solely on Warm Chatter booking, and so let me show you how I did it. I usually did Warm Chatter booking either on Washington Metro, and after I got kind of good at it, I got smart. After I would talk to one woman on the first car, and at the next station get off and go in the car behind her, talk to someone else on that car, get off at the next station, go into the car behind her, and by the end of my commute, I might have 5 or 6 contacts or had talked to quite a few women on Washington Metro. My other favorite place was a store called Dillard's in the mall, which isn't there anymore, but it was a nice department store, and I used to like shopping there. And while I was shopping, I'd also hand out cards. Target was another favorite once I had kids. So I would walk up to somebody and say, excuse me, may I ask you a silly question? Now, let me tell you, this is a little silly, but my name's Rena, and I teach skincare with Mary Kay, and I couldn't help but notice you because of your pretty eye makeup. You need to give a compliment first, and it needs to be a sincere compliment that you feel in your heart. I have tried it with an insincere compliment and tried to make up stuff. It doesn't work well, so always be honest and authentic. Would you be offended if I asked you to model my portfolio for a before and after picture? It's a before picture without makeup and an after picture with a light makeover to show my clients the type of work I do. Again, you take their temperature. She said no. I thanked her so much. I gave her my card and said, listen, if you ever change your mind, here's my card. If she said yes, then I said, great, my name's Rena. What's your name? And let's say she said Susie. Great, Susie. Is it best to reach you at home or cell? So I'm not asking for a number. People don't like giving out numbers, right? Is it best to reach you at home or cell? She would say cell. Great, what's that? Again, you always want to book when it's convenient for you. You guys are busy. You have lives. You have families. You have jobs. So I would always go for my meeting nights. I work at the Gyra Bakery Cafe on Tuesday nights. Would a Tuesday night work for your before and after picture, or is another time better? So I always go for where I'm working already, getting guests at meeting, because then you have the group energy, and my director would help with the makeover, rather than trying to schedule it alone where I'd be driving all over the place. I also get leads at restaurants, bridal shows, and fairs. Let me tell you how we work some restaurants. You would call the manager and say, "Hi, my name is Rena, and I teach skincare with Mary Kay. I've always admired your restaurant and noticed that you attract a great demographic of clients. Is there any reason why I couldn't do a client appreciation for you to pamper your clients?" I would come in on a busy night with flowers for all the ladies and offer them a chance to sign up for some complimentary Mary Kay makeovers. So what we usually do is we come with a few buckets of flowers, either carnations or roses. Usually if you're doing a restaurant for an evening, you need about 6 or 7 dozen. So that's why I go with carnations, because they're usually cost effective. Find a wholesaler or a great place to get the flowers. And as the ladies are seated, there's usually a little bit of lull between when they order food and when the food comes, right? In a restaurant, you look at the menu, you order food, and then the food comes. So during that lull, when the waiter isn't there, I go to the table and I give the ladies a flower, and I give them sign-up slips along with a pen. So you need quite a few pens, about 30 or 40 to do a restaurant, because you'll be surprised how many pens you do or do not get back. It's also a good idea to have the manager let the waiters know that you will be there, because sometimes the waiters get the papers and the pens before you do. And that way you can get your papers, your sign-up slips and pens back. So I leave them the flowers and the sign-up slips. Some people sign up, some people don't. Doesn't matter. You know, every 10 minutes or so I walk by, I pick up the sign-up slips that have been filled out, or the ones that are not interested, and then I give new sign-up slips to the people that have just ordered and are seated. So it's a great way to get a restaurant. Now, I've had another consultant do the same thing. Usually, if you go into last week of August, first week of September for office supply stores, many of them will allow you to do a client appreciation. Also, in the holidays, if you can find some little boutiques, little shops, not big chains because they have all sorts of rules and regulations, but little boutiques, they'll let you come and set up a table and get some leads that way. I've also done this in many gyms. People that work in gyms or go to gyms actually want to look good. So you can do a client appreciation at a gym and get lots of leads there. Once you have the lead from the restaurant, what are you going to do with them? So I call them and say, "Hi, Susie, this is Rena with Mary Kay. You entered our drawing yesterday at Joe's Grill. Well, you were one of our drawing winners. You won a pampering session with Mary Kay, and on top of that, you get to try our hand and lip treatments. And on top of that, you may have up to 3 friends join you for free, so you don't have to pay for their makeovers. And on top of that, Susie, you won a $20 Mary Kay gift certificate." So I kind of do a build-up. And I said it only takes about 25 minutes for me to pop over with my samples, so you can play with some colors and some skincare products and pick out what you want for your gift certificate. So what's best for you, an evening or a weekend? Are Friday nights best for you, or Sunday's better? If you don't want to work Saturdays, don't give them the option of working Saturdays, because I usually have soccer games on Saturdays. And again, always try to direct them. I work at the Gyro Bakery on Tuesday nights. Or Tuesday's good for you, or another evening better. For shows and fairs, a couple of ideas about doing shows and fairs, like bridal shows or state fairs. Make sure it's a well-established show and they have their clients. Usually the well-established ones are a little more pricey, so check on that. I usually steer clear of first and second year shows because it takes a while for a show to establish clients. Look for events that other consultants have worked and have generated good leads, so you can talk to a sister consultant or director and they can tell you, yes, you get good leads from that show. I recommend having goodie bags, just a small cellophane bag that I get at the dollar store. You can usually get about 20 bags for $1 at the current time when I was talking and making this recording. I put in a business card, a sample, an eyeshadow, lipstick, or eyeliner, and a piece of candy. Put on a cute ribbon with the bag. You want to have, at a good show, I usually go through about 50 bags an hour. Don't think about making these elaborate and gaudy. Think about mass manufacturing. So for a 3-hour show, you need 150 of them. So you want to basically get them done. I also recommend that you get some Mardi Gras beads. I usually get pink or hot pink, because when you're working a show, I give them the goodie bag and some Mardi Gras beads. They put on the Mardi Gras beads, and that way if they keep walking by my booth, I don't feel the need to talk to them because I already know who I've spoken to. believe it or not, if you do enough of these, and sometimes I do these in large restaurants too, you have so many people coming back and forth, that you don't even remember who you've talked to because you've spent the day talking to so many people.